The Samsung Galaxy Buds 3 Pros are a month old-ish at the time of recording, and of course, it's got a lot of competition like Nothing and CMF by Nothing, and of course, Apple. But in my opinion, the greatest competitor for Samsung is Samsung themselves. Because the Buds 2 Pros were where it was at for me, and when I was sitting in the media preview and saw the design of the Buds 3 series, a part of me died that morning. I miss my beans, man. I miss the design of the Buds 2 Pros because they were so comfortable, the material they used was so soft and fit great in my ears right out the box and had such a unique design with performance to boot. And when I saw the Buds 3 Pros, the birds went silent and angels sighed. I was really looking forward to Samsung continuing that line of design, but of course they had other plans, with them wanting the stems so they can place the microphone closer to the user's mouth to take advantage of the leaps Galaxy AI has made. But truly, I feel that the need for that and how it looks similar to AirPods Pros, whether a conscious decision or not, this is how I feel about it. This is my burning of the Library of Alexandria. This is pretty similar to how Caesar ordered the burning of boats to prevent Pompey the Great's troops from advancing through the city, and then having said flames eventually consume the city in a massive oversight. These buds aren't a massive failure in any sense compared to that, of course, but there's a tremendous sense of loss in trying to chase the competition. Today, I've got the CMF Buds Pro 2s, Nothing Ears, AirPods Pro Gen 2, and of course, the Buds 3 Pros. I'll be throwing in the CMFs, Nothings, and AirPods whenever they apply in the video. And before we continue, here's a word from Secretlab. Here at Geek Culture, Secretlab is our everyday ergonomic buddy. Whether we're working, playing, or taking a quick nap, we feel less aches and more refreshed, even after sitting for long hours. Secretlab provides ergonomic support literally from head to toe, from dynamic lumbar support to their proprietary medium foam cushioning, and even premium footrests that promote circulation. That's good for you. For more information, check out secretlab.co. In terms of performance, the Buds 3 Pros are a huge improvement from its 2022 counterpart, with a new dual amplifier design in each bud, which gives more power to the existing dual dynamic driver design, and it sounds so much better than the 2s, and in some ways better than the current gen of AirPods Pros. There's more oomph in the bass without being muddy. The mids are kind of just there, they don't really do too much, but the highs and trebles are excellent. Overall, it didn't matter what genre I was playing because of how the buds are EQ'd and with the new gear that has been added in. Any song you play on the Buds 3s will have much more detail than the other 3 buds we have here, and if you're using the Buds 3 Pros on a Samsung device, you will have access to the Samsung Seamless Codec. In order to use that, you also have to ensure that you have a Z Flip 5 or Tab S9 series with One UI 6.11 or above, or you will not have access to ultra high quality audio and be stuck with AAC for the rest of your life. Without the codec though, they still sound great, and if you're not an audiophile, I don't really see the need for you to be concerned with this part because they do still sound great. Whether I was engaging some easy listening with artists like Chapel Roan, Toto, Keshi, or heavier bands like Killswitch Engage, Bitterwood, or Lorna Shore, out of the box, the Buds 3 Pros work fine for a wide range of genres. AirPods Pros still hold up pretty well, it's just that the Buds 3s do it much better. However, if you want quality without spending $250, the CMFs would actually do you justice because they're actually very decent sounding, especially for its price of $59 USD, and at least it has its own unique look with the case and the buds, and it's really fun to turn the dial, and yes, you can program this to control volume. The Buds 3 Pros design has taken an unfortunate backseat, and though sleek, it lacks the kind of fire and ambition the previous buds had. Yes, I am harping on the design quite a bit, but that was one aspect of the Buds series that got me into them, and it was so cool and bold of them to go down that path. The clean and long-stemmed look of the new buds doesn't make it distinct anymore, and that goes for the case too. While cool that it's transparent and all, the product could easily be mistaken for a pair from a convenience store. So between the Buds 3s and the AirPods Pro Gen 2s, the one thing I hope they have in common is how clear the microphones can be. I tested these out in an underground train or tube or subway. We'll be doing tests in the office as well to get you a good idea of how they handle themselves. Let me know in the comments how y'all think they both did. Alright, so this is how the AirPods Pro 2nd generation sounds like in a relatively quiet office environment with the occasional clickety-clacketing from switching on my right over here. But besides that, this is how they perform like in a relatively quiet environment. And now we'll be moving on to the Galaxy Buds 3 Pros. So this is how the Galaxy Buds 3 Pros sound like in an office environment. It's relatively quiet here. Such as just clickety-clacketing on her keyboard over there. But this is how it sounds like when, you're in a quiet environment. which will contrast quite a bit to what we'll be having next. So I've featured the AirPods Pro Gen 2s, and this is how they sound like in a busy environment. Obviously they get a lot clearer compared to the Galaxy Buds 3s. So this is how they sound like in comparison to them in a busy environment on a train. These are the Galaxy Buds 3 Pros, and we're currently on the ground with the train back home. And because of these, I'm using these on a I think looking full, so it doesn't sound right. I do not have a Samsung device on plan at the moment, and the organizer isn't able to use these Buds 3s as a microphone for some reason. But this is how it sounds like on a train in a busy environment. This is how the Galaxy Buds 3 Pros sound. Let's talk about Galaxy AI features for a bit. It's meant to adjust the sound to your fit with adaptive EQ and ANC. On top of that, it's meant to learn your wearing habits and individual ear shapes in order to better optimize and maximize your listening experience to confirm your fit with pinpoint precision, as Samsung says. And in terms of sound, I can't tell if it's working so well to the point that I haven't noticed it, because honestly, I really haven't, but you know, it sounds good, so The other thing is the alarm siren feature. So what it does is that when either of the two are detected, the buds will switch to ambient mode regardless of which mode you're in, adaptive or active noise cancellation. So I haven't had a lot of sirens or alarms go off either near my home or office, thank the Emperor, but they do actually work as shown in this little test here. Okay, so we're going to be playing the siren again, but I'm going to put the iPad much closer to me, right next to the earphones actually. It's close. It should be working, but it's not. It has shifted to ambient, and it goes back to active noise cancelling. My guess is the way that it works, that it's a proximity thing. I'm not exactly sure how far off the ambulance or police car needs to be, but the thing is that it needs to be a certain it needs to be at a certain volume in order for this shift to work, and it'll only come up for a bit. Alright, let's try this at a distance. Obviously, you know, this isn't like a real world test in any kind of way. It's simulated as well. So the thing is, like, we're not exactly sure how well this would work in a real life situation. But I've also noticed is that it picks up things like high-pitched drilling noises and sometimes voices and registers them as alarm and sirens too. And you know, I'll get to a really good part of a song and then it picks up a voice, and then I go from ANC, whether adaptive or active, and it will just go straight to ambient out of nowhere. So if any current owners have experienced this, just let me know in the comments below. And whether or not it'll take some time for the AI to learn the difference, I'm not too sure about that. That's not within my field. And while we're on the topic of ANC, the Galaxy Buds 3 Pros amongst the current lineup we have here is best in class, only second to Sony's earbuds and headphones, and that means a lot to me. Adaptive ANC works beautifully and comfortably for that matter, and honestly, you can whack out active noise cancellation at the highest setting and it never gets uncomfortable. I use these on a 55-minute commute to work, and the buds have a great seal, are comfortable, and honestly truly shuts out the world around you. So Samsung did a damn good job with this. So the Intepreter app, or real-time interpreter, if I can recall, is one of the primary reasons the design came to be, with the mic at the bottom of the stem. So we have Mr. Hideo Kojima at the corner over there, and we are going to be running real-time interpreter with this thing mode. And I've already set it to Japanese, so let's just do that and see how well it fares. So as you can see, it kind of works. It's just that the translation is a bit wonky. I think, you know, with more patches over time, it'll be more accurate. But besides that, the main thing is the earbuds are able to pick up audio about a meter or two away from the person speaking, which is, you know, Mr. Kojima over here. And yeah, this is what we're working with. Let's just try one more video. I'm more adept with Bahasa Indonesia compared to Japanese, of course. This is pretty close, and also actually is quite accurate to what he's saying in terms of picking up what he has said over here in Bahasa Indonesia. But the thing is, obviously, when it comes to the translation, you know, things are a bit wonky. So again, yeah, give it some more time and it'll work flawlessly. But I think when it comes to forming a base understanding of having the other person speak, this honestly isn't too bad. But right now, let's just try conversation mode, with Sucha. Selamat pagi kawan. Kamu udah makan nggak?
Good morning. Have you eaten yet?
Yes, I have eaten.
Kamu suka nonton film apa?
What movie do you like to watch?
I like to watch horror, but sometimes with a bit of character development.
Pretty neat stuff, but I will say in the line of practicality, especially if you want to travel in countries or areas notorious for theft and the like, you'd best err on the side of caution when using these in the open. Just a little something to keep in mind. On the flip side, if you're on a guided tour or a safe area and you're engaging in conversation with someone new that doesn't speak English as their first language, this tech really does help in easing up language barriers. I wouldn't necessarily say break them because translation can be kind of iffy sometimes, as seen with the real-time translate thing, but it makes having these conversations so much easier. The AI features are cool, but how practical and how often you would use them is something you should definitely take into consideration when purchasing this. And of course, the features only work on a Samsung device, so if you don't own a Samsung, this won't really matter to you. All in all, besides my gripes with the design choices that were made, yes, the Galaxy Buds 3 Pros are the superior buds among them all in terms of sound quality, but in terms of how much more worth it they are compared to the other buds, it's gonna be hard to justify spending 250 USD or 358 SGD when there are Sony's and nothing's available. Yes, of course, you can throw in the fact that you can use Galaxy AI for so many things, but think about how practical it is and how often you use those features in the long run. Hell, even I don't use Siri for anything else, unless it's to play a fart or something every once in a while. Hey Siri, play a fart. At the end of the day, if you're running a Samsung, you should definitely get the Galaxy Buds 3 Pros and take full advantage of everything it has to offer in tandem with your Galaxy devices. But if you're an outsider like me, I'd rather stick to Sony's or Nothing. Nothing and CMF by Nothing are actually on the rise right now and have come a long way from the initial Nothing Ear ones, so keep an eye on them. If you have any questions about the Galaxy Buds 3 Pros, let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. If you like this video, follow us on all of our socials right here because we post up articles and videos every day, and don't forget to like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. It helps out the channel more than you know. This has been Zin, and if you want to see more stuff, check this out.